Hey guys, so for today's video, I had the idea to try a full face of makeup techniques that are out of my comfort zone. I asked you guys on Instagram, what are some makeup trends or techniques that you don't see me use often that you want me to try, things that are a little off the wall or just different from what I normally do outside my comfort zone. So I'm gonna try to do as many of these techniques as I can fit on my face today. I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited. I love getting out of my comfort zone, trying new things. Who knows, maybe I'll find a new technique that I end up loving. But if you're new to my channel, welcome. My channel is really all about inspiring you to have fun with the makeup collection that you already have. I do project pans, shop my stash videos, and just generally finding new and creative ways to use what I have. So if that sounds like fun to you, I'd love to have you subscribe, and let's go ahead and get started. So the first technique that was requested a lot was the reverse foundation technique. I've actually never tried this before. It was really popular on YouTube a couple years ago, and I think recently it became popularized again on TikTok. I think this technique is also known as underpainting, but basically this is where you apply your cheek products like your cream, blush, bronzer, highlight, contour, all of that goes on underneath your foundation, and you're supposed to use kind of a lighter coverage foundation so that it still allows those products to show through. I think the idea behind it is just that those cheek products can look a little bit more natural this way, so let's give it a go. Okay, I zoomed you guys in. So I'm gonna start with contour. I'm just gonna use my Oma Beauty contour stick, and I'm gonna be a little bit more heavy-handed than I normally would be if I were doing this over my foundation, because I want it to actually show up. Another thing that somebody wanted me to do was nose contour, so I guess I'll do that as well. Okay, that was very haphazardly done, but I guess I'll try that as well. I really don't nose contour very often, or ever for that matter, but here, let's do some under the chin too. Why not? And I'm just gonna blend that out with this angled brush from Profusion. So I have a feeling, because I've seen other people do this, so it's probably gonna look a little extreme before I put the foundation on. That's kind of the point, because we still want it to show up once I apply my foundation. Yeah, very strong contour. It's probably not the best brush for this. Let's do, I'm gonna use my Sigma Soft Blend Concealer brush to blend out the nose. Okay, that looks lopsided. So for cream blush, I chose my most pigmented one. This is the Undone Beauty Lip to Cheek palette in Dahlia. This one is very, very pigmented. So I'm gonna actually be really heavy-handed with this. I'm just gonna dab my brush in there. Probably gonna look like a clown. Don't laugh at me. It's all part of the process. Wow, I look crazy. So probably be a good technique to try if you're trying to pan like a really pigmented blush or bronzer, because you're obviously using a lot more than you normally would. So you can get more use out of those products. Oh, yeah, okay. I look nuts. And I think you're supposed to apply highlighter underneath too. So I'm gonna use my Becca liquid highlighter in Champagne Pop. I feel like this is gonna get covered up. I might have to go back in with highlighter at the end. Just, I don't know, we'll see, we'll see, we'll see. I also brought out this Flower Beauty Heat Wave bronzing essence, which is like a liquid bronzer. I kind of feel like I already look very bronzed from the contour, but maybe I'll just do a little bit of this. Maybe a little on the nose, I don't know. Okay, I feel like that looks very patchy on my forehead, probably because I applied a lot. So how do I look? All right, so for foundation, I'm gonna use the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Skin Milk, which is a nice lighter coverage foundation. The other thing I'm concerned about with this technique is that what if the blush and bronzer and everything like moves around? Like, is it gonna stay in place? I guess we'll find out. I think I'm gonna apply it directly to my sponge. I promise this is clean, it just won't, the stain will not come out. I'm gonna apply it to my sponge and then apply it to my face, rather than what I normally do, which is apply it, like dot it around my face, then blend it out. I'm thinking just having it directly on the sponge will help it not mess with the cheek products too terribly much. I'm actually going to apply it to my hand, then pick it up on the sponge. Okay, so foundation is on. I feel like that just mostly covered everything up. I don't really know if I see the benefit of doing it this way. Maybe I need to keep trying it, but like I just applied an ungodly amount of cheek product and now I covered it up with foundation, and this is definitely a lighter coverage foundation. I mean, it's not like the lightest coverage of all time, but I guess you can kind of still see the blush, but I feel like one of the problems with this technique is that your foundation is going to like lift up some of those cheek products and then just kind of move them all over your face. Like, look at this. I feel like now my entire face just looks more like pink than it should. And my sponge is kind of tinted pink now. So it kind of, I think it did pick up the blush, and I don't know. I don't like that technique. Next, I'm going to apply concealer like normal, but a few people also requested that I try baking. I have only ever baked once in my life, and I hated it, but that was several years ago, and I think I tried it with like an already very thick concealer. So I'm using my e.l.f. Hydrating Camo, which is one of my favorites, and I'm going to try this again. Alright, so concealer is on. I guess people also, you know what I'm also going to do is, I never do this, but I'm going to put a little concealer like here, because I think people like to bake like more than just their under eyes. And I feel like this might help add a little bit of dimension back to my face after we did the reverse foundation. The powder I'm going to use, typically people bake with a loose powder. I think that's how you're supposed to do it. So I'm going to use the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder. This one is new to me. I've only used it like once so far, but the one time I used it, I really liked it. So let's try this. And I'm going to use one of these base blue, like triangular sponges, dry. I think a dry sponge is the way to go. Like I said, I never do this, so I don't even know if I'm doing any of this correctly, but I'm just going to take one of these. This is from their like snowflake sponge set. It's a lot of powder. Pick up some powder on the sponge and kind of stamp that on my under eye. You're supposed to kind of put a thick layer and sort of let that sit. Oh my god, it feels so dry. Oh, it feels so dry. You're supposed to kind of let that sit for like 5 to 10 minutes, I think. And then you dust it off, and I'm not really sure what it's supposed to do. I think it's supposed to really lock your concealer in and like brighten, kind of smooth the area. I don't know. Oh, I can just feel it like sucking the moisture out of my under eyes. Oh god. It's on the chin. Oh god. I don't like this already. Okay, so while we let that bake, I'm gonna move on to some eye stuff. So I'm gonna just start out with some eyelid primer. And for the eyes, actually let's do eyebrows first. So a few people requested fluffy brows, another thing I never do. So I don't really have like the fullest, thickest brows ever, but I'm gonna try to do some fluffy brows. So I'm just gonna use my Urban Decay brow blade, like normal, to fill them in. So then I'm gonna use the ink stain to fill in kind of the front end of my brow. Okay, so I filled in my brows like normal. Now one thing is that I have not plucked or trimmed my brows in a little while. They're definitely due for a good plucking and trimming, but hopefully that will lend itself well to the fluffy brow effect. So I'm just going to use my brow gel. This is the Pacifica Highest Def Hemp Fiber Brow Gel in clear. And I'm just going to kind of brush them upwards. I don't know, I mean, it doesn't look horrible. I just don't feel like I have the brows for fluffy brows. Like I see other people using the fluffy brow technique, and I think it looks really cool on some people. I just don't know. I don't know about mine. But it could just, I don't know, I'm just not used to seeing it on myself, I guess. They're fluffy, all right. I feel like that was the most successful of all the techniques I've tried thus far. Do I love it? No, but it's not terrible. I feel like this powder has had plenty of time to bake, so I'm going to go ahead and dust it off. Okay, it's coming off good. I was worried it was gonna like stay stuck like that. My under eyes still just feel so dry. Ugh. How do they look? They look very crepey. Let me try to show you up close. See how they're just crepey looking. Not as bad as I expected, but this just makes my fine lines look even more extreme than they actually are, so that's gonna be a no from me. It's definitely not as bad as the only other time I've tried baking, which was like 5 years ago. I think the products I used a concealer that I know I like, and I used a powder that so far I really like. It's a nice lightweight loose powder, and it definitely doesn't look horrendous. Like I would go out in public like this. It's really just, to me, they feel so tight and dry, and up close I don't love the way it looks, but it's not as bad as I expected. I think I'm gonna skip powdering the rest of my face just because I don't want to cover up any of those cheek products any more than they already are. Oh, my brows are already falling. Do you see that? That's funny. This brow gel, the Pacifica one, I have tried it a few times now. I don't love it. I think it just doesn't offer great hold. And I think this was the perfect way to illustrate that because, as you saw, like they fell in a matter of like 30 seconds. So I'm gonna try using my e.l.f. Shape and Stay Brow Wax in hopes that this will have better hold. I just can't take myself seriously with this. Okay, there we go. Let's see how much better that holds. Alright, I feel like that kind of took away from the actual brow pencil that I put in, so I'm going to put a little more to kind of fill in those gaps now. Alright, so moving on to the eyes. A lot of people were asking me to do graphic liner and the inner corner eyeliner that became super popular last year, where you like bring the liquid liner like all the way in to the inner corner, which I've also never done. So I'm not really sure what to do as far as the actual eyeshadow look. So I'm almost thinking that because this is my first time, or like one of my very first times trying graphic liner, that I should maybe just kind of keep the eyeshadow very minimal. I brought over all my Pan Those eyeshadows just so I can use them if possible. So I'm going to start out by just setting my lid with the shade Base from Norvina. And I think I'm just going to be boring and stick to black liner for this graphic liner look. And I found this picture on Pinterest of what I'm going to try to do. This looks like a nice kind of simpler graphic liner because there's a lot of like really, really advanced ones, but I want to just start with something simple this time. So I'm just going to set my lid with this shade. By the way, I hit pan on this shade recently. So exciting. Alright, then I'm going to take a little bit of Opal from Profusion Mauves. This is also in my Pan Those eyeshadows. I'm really trying to hit pan on this shade this month. I feel like I can do it. Alright, I'm just going to kind of dust that across my lid. Actually, yeah, I'm just dusting that all over the lid. Just for a nice, soft shimmer. Alright, so I think that's going to be it for the eyeshadow. For now at least. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt the graphic liner with this ABH liquid liner that I have in black. And I'm also going to bring it in all the way to the inner corner as was requested by a couple people. That is probably the part that I'm most nervous about because I'm just like, how is that going to stay put? Like it's like right there in your tear duct. So I'm going to try to kind of take off some of what's on this applicator just so it doesn't get too thick too fast. Alright, I'm just going to start by applying a super thin line right on my lash line. And it looks like she kind of took it just towards the tail of her brow, pretty far out. It's actually like parallel with the very point of her brow. I'm gonna just kind of start by like stamping this on. And I think I'm going to try to kind of go back and forth between each eye to give myself the best chance of symmetry. Leave that there for now and do the same on the other eye. So regular wing has been applied to both eyes. Now I'm just going to kind of keep extending this out slowly. Okay, so from there, I'm gonna start this top line from the inside first. I'm gonna kind of make, or should I start it from out here? So I'm gonna kind of plan to end the line right about here. I'm just gonna kind of draw a dot where I want the line to end first on both sides. Oh gosh, it's hardly a dot. I'm gonna kind of follow my crease and go a little bit above the crease because that looks like what she did too. All right, I've got a generally kind of outline there. I feel like this liner is too juicy. Not a very smooth line at all. Okay, that one I did a little faster. Oh my god, no, what did I just do? I'm gonna have to go get a Q-tip. Alright, I'm gonna try to clean this line up with some concealer. Yeah, that's gonna definitely require some practice. I think what I'm gonna do is actually pick up some pencil liner on this really small angled brush. This is probably what I should have done to begin with. And just apply it like that. This is the CoverGirl Kohl eyeliner. I think that's as good as it's gonna get. This has been a very humbling experience so far. All right, so I haven't gone around the inner corner yet. I'm gonna do that with the pencil and the brush because I just think with the liquid liner, it's just gonna be way too messy. I think it might be easier with like a pen style liquid liner rather than the kind that you dip the applicator back in because there's just not enough control with this kind of eyeliner, I don't think. At least not for my skill level. All right, so I'm just going to bring this all the way in. Maybe this isn't gonna work. Maybe I should use the liquid. I'm just gonna kind of end it right there. I did it with the pencil on that side. I'm actually gonna try it with the liquid on the other because I just feel like that doesn't look sharp enough. Actually, I'm gonna go over that with liquid. I'm gonna bring it to a point there. Oh, I made a mess. Okay, so look at my hands first of all. I think that's as good as it's gonna get with the liner. This eye definitely turned out better than this one. Neither one is very good, but that's gonna require some more practice for sure. All right, so I went ahead and applied mascara. I'm just gonna call it there on the eye look. I'm tired of trying. So there were also some requests to try faux freckles, which is another like aesthetic that I don't really feel like mixes that well with graphic liner, but I thought I would try this as well because I have honestly never done faux freckles. So I'm gonna use my brow pen. This is, again, the Urban Decay Brow Blade, and I'm gonna try the marker side because this does look like a good color for freckles. So I think the way I've seen people do faux freckles, I tried to wash my hands, there's still some eyeliner on them, but I think what I've seen people do is kind of draw like a triangle, is to kind of make a triangle with 3 dots on your finger, and then it's not really showing up. I'm sure an actual freckle pen would probably work better. All right, I'm just gonna try dotting it on directly, actually. And then maybe. Oh, no, that looks so bad. So far this look is, I mean, again, from far away, kind of. It also, I just feel like faux freckles don't work with like such a glam look or such a heavy eye makeup kind of look. Alright, so for the last thing we're gonna do is lips. And the only lip thing I think I saw was like overlined lips, which I actually do like to very slightly overline my lips. Alright, so the way that I normally like to do this is just kind of connect both sides of my Cupid's bow. That was a little too far. And my upper lip is smaller than my lower lip, so I don't like to really overline my bottom lip too much. But I'll kind of just ever so slightly overline it. And then I'll kind of draw on another Cupid's bow. That's a lot more than I normally would overline. Alright, then I kind of blend that. Put a little bit of the e.l.f. Seriously Satin Lipstick in cream in the center. And then a little bit of my Milani gloss in Soft Rose on top. Okay, so I think that's the finished look. I'm trying to think of which parts of this I would do again. Honestly, probably not very many of these. I definitely want to practice the graphic liner more. I would like to, look at my fingers with the freckles. I would like to try that again, maybe a few more times on my own and hopefully improve my skills. I do think that this, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just not very good, but I do feel like this style of liquid liner is just not the easiest for graphic liner. I think a pen style liner would probably be a little bit easier, so I'm gonna probably try that next. But I also do want to try Faux Freckles again because I do think they look really good on other people. And actually, like, from far away, I kind of like the way it looks. I would like to try that again, especially with like a different type of look. Reverse foundation technique, I don't get it. I don't really see the point in doing that. I don't know. If you swear by that reverse foundation technique, let me know if maybe there's like a different way I should try it. Baking, absolutely not my thing whatsoever. So yeah, I think out of all these things, the things I would do again would be the graphic liner. I just need to practice some more, and the faux freckles. And overlining the lips, I do that regularly, but I do it more subtly than this. I feel like this just looks a little bit too extreme for me. So that's my attempt at some makeup techniques that are very out of my comfort zone. I think it was especially difficult trying out all of these techniques all at once in one look. But yeah, let me know if you do any of these techniques regularly, and if so, if you have any tips for me, I'd love to hear in the comments below. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you've not already, and hopefully I will talk to you again very soon in my next video. Bye!